guys, for those listening, in that first year when Chaz was not charging, he mentioned using his TSP to basically meet his expenses and fund all of his living expenses. What that means is for those years he was working in the federal service, he cashed in his retirement account, took the penalty, and used that to live on so that he could start his business and had that period where he was basically giving his services away. That is, when you talk about risk and risk tolerance, that is such a good example of somebody who is all in, someone who believes so much in what they're doing that they know that it will all come. The money will come. The people will come. If what you have to offer is valuable and you have the grit and the tenacity, the fortitude and the desire to build your business, all that stuff will come together. And so I love those stories or those pieces where we can highlight just what it means to bear risk and try things and take the risk.
Yeah, they say if you build it, they will come. And that same day, I fired my financial advisor. The day I was on my laptop, I was in Arlington, Virginia. I never forget that day. I do a run through Theodore Roosevelt's Park, which is right on the cusp of Washington D.C. So yeah, I lived in Roslyn, so it's
Hmm.
Arlington, Virginia, Roslyn sub community, and you walk on the Key Bridge. There's a park back there. I used to run that park. It's a real solid loop. I can run in about 20 minutes or so. That day before my run, I said, am I going to listen to my financial advisor and build this, bootstrap it, basically bare minimum, or am I going to cash out and really dive all the way in? So I fired my financial advisor after I asked him a question. I said, have you ever gave financial advice to an entrepreneur, someone that's bold and take risks? He says, no, most of my clientele are folks like yourself, federal government employees, and, folks that are making six figures a year, that work in the federal space or in the contracting space. And I said, and I'm not going to say his name. I said, well, unfortunately, I think our relationship has to end. And so I had to pay like an early termination fee. I had to pay some other fees, but I paid it happily and withdrew the TSP. And he said to me, he says, that attitude either A, will make you a multimillionaire or a very poor man. And I said, what if it makes me a multimillionaire? And so here we are.